Right. I have been away for a while. I apologize. I had something else I had to work on that had a deadline. That's kind of story of my life at this point. But I did manage to find some time to faff with this in the interim. I fixed the middle so it's no longer disgusting, which is huge, and I kind of evened everything out. So it's just generally nicer, to be honest. I've been working on texturing everything so it looks kind of hammered. Um, yeah, I'm gonna finish with that real quick, and then mold wall, and finally progressing with this thing. So, it's taken much longer than I wanted it to, but I'm also myself, and I can't do things half-assed, you know? At least I know myself. As soon as I've finished faffing with this one little bit, and it is going to be a case of building up a mold wall, and then actually getting some silicone on this thing, which is nice. Then the plan is use that mold to cast two of the same thing in fast cast, then stick those together, sand down the seam, make it all nice, and then get a two-part mold going. So yeah, the ultimate end goal will be to be able to cast different components in different materials and kind of just stick them together, basically. And where did this... It's just the real finicky bits that I can't leave. And then beyond that, actual progress. Hooray. Got a really good playlist in my ears. Feeling pretty decent in general. So, actually, kinda good to go this morning. Despite the fact that work has been mental for the last 2 days. And I'll still have to duck out to go deal with that. But, it's what it is. And I don't have to contend with it for that much longer. So, you know. just a big gap under this particular bit that I've been wanting to fix. Because, you know, undercuts. But for the most part, I am happy enough with it. It's not perfect. I am inclined to walk away though, to be honest. Like I will never finish this if I don't walk away. How does it translate on camera? Not the first thing you notice, so it's probably fine, right? Just one side appears to be thicker than the other. But I will be here forever if I don't just leave it now, to be honest. Like, I just have to leave it. When I first looked at it this morning, I thought, hey, that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna have to roll with my first impression, or else I will never finish this. Don't think it's gonna matter that much. It's substantially different on each side, though. I just want to finish this, to be honest. I don't understand how they've ended up being so different on each side. I really don't. Yeah, I'm not sure how this has ended up so uneven. Because in some ways it's really even. In other ways, it just is really not. Oh well, I'll have the fast cast thing, and then if I want to mess with that, then I can. So, whatever. At this point, it just whatever. I may decide that I don't care that much when I have a thing, so, you know, I'll wait till I have the thing, and then decide after that. Then I can just cast a bunch of them and mess with them as I need to. Or at this point, as I feel I need to, because I probably don't actually need to. I just hate it when things don't quite line up. Just started with a Daedric dagger. I'd had a much easier time. Maybe that's what I'll do next. I don't know, though. I feel like everyone does Daedric daggers. Then I've wanted to do a Dragon Priest mask for ages, but everyone does Dragon Priest masks. glass dagger was fairly unusual when I did a teensy bit of market research. Like, a few people have done them, but not as many people that have done Daedric, so whatever. I'll just have to look into it, I guess. Yeah, one side is much thinner than the other, but I can't cut into this side, because then I hit foam. Which doesn't make sense, because I can't cut into that side, so who knows, really. The thing that annoys me is that the very lower part looks pretty even. It's only those top bits that look uneven. So, I don't know. Do I just need to build up this side slightly? Maybe. Where'd I put my tape measure? Out of interest. This looks like it may actually be reasonably fixable. Well, I can't find it. Which means I didn't put it back where I keep it. Which is a rookie error, so I'm not quite sure how I managed that. Because I know myself better than that by now. Oh well, there are other tape measures. Actually, no, screw it, I've got a ruler. It's fine. I basically just want to see the difference. So that's 4-ish. And that's also 4-ish. So how have I managed that? That's like almost exactly 4-ish. Maybe... if there is a difference, it's very, very slight. I'm not sure how I've managed to get them to be so uneven. I'm reluctant to take from this side. Those are all pretty even, that's the thing. I think it is just slightly thicker in here. I can't cut from this side, as I've said, because there's foam underneath. So if I just add a tiny bit, because I can't leave it, every time I say to myself, I'll fix it in post, it's like, no, no, I will fix it now, damn it. Because I'm cool with it up to here-ish. And then it kind of becomes a pain. I think it is just this little bit in here. Because everything else kind of matches up, I think. I think that's going to fix it. So bear with me, because I had every intent of being done with this. But, you know, no such luck, not really. It definitely looks better down here, but it needs to extend further up top. I can always add a bit, so that's not really the end of the world. I think this is going to fix it, to be honest. I hate it every single time I commit to molding this. Find something that I'm not okay with. See, I think it actually extends down here a bit, because this has a different taper on it. Okay, I think this is going to fix it. In my defense, I'm reasonably confident that this will fix it. I have to make sure I extend it up there as well. That's fine. I'm hoping this doesn't take me that long, but historically, I can't vouch for that. To be honest. So, whatever, we'll see. Hoping that this then means that I can add a bit to this and even everything out again. Every time I hear the last stand, I can only think of that one meme. And it's such a banger of a song as well. And it's like, no, I want to get lost in the glory of it. No, only think of that stupid face filter. I suppose there are worse associations. Yeah, and I think I did a little bit extra. After this, I could actually be pain. I think the trouble with me is I'm constantly having to weigh up, like, is it better to just have a thing, or can I actually spend the time on this? This one was dangerous, because it's like, no, I can actually spend the time on this. think that ended up being a problem. In fairness, I might be able to hang around slightly longer today. It depends. A mate of mine gets back from their holiday today, and they usually offer me a lift in the mornings. I'm not expecting it, but if they do, I can hang around. And I imagine they'll probably want to talk about their holidays, so could be a good excuse. We'll see. If they're awake and they message me, then epic. If not, then I'll just do everything as I usually would. See, I want to make this slightly wider than it needs to be so I can cut back into it. Have one smooth line. Except for down here, where I'm probably just going to finesse it to oblivion, to be honest. We'll see, actually. I might be able to get away with that. Not the worst. As I say, it leaves me quite a bit that I can cut from, which is going to be the best way to get a clean line. Then I just have to cut in a bit. What I'll probably do first is even this top bit out. Add the bit that I think is missing along this edge, because this is way thinner than this side. So I'll add that in after I've done this. Then I'm going to try and even this up with this side. And then I can faff with the other side, I think. That will eventually get around to actually moulding this. I can't leave it, right? I've come this far. Can't walk away now. Every time I try and convince myself otherwise, I know it's cope. So, I'd say definitely need some up top as well. I do that. Really, it comes in from around here. Then that's going to dictate how I handle the rest, really. I'll do this first. So I think now that I've got kind of a center line marked in, it's easier to see what's not quite even. At least I'm off tomorrow. So, whatever happens this morning, the intent is still to get around to molding this. But whatever happens, at least I've got tomorrow in which to do things. So that's something. You know when you've not listened to a band in a while, and then you whack on a playlist and you're just, oh, just hits the spot. That's me with Sabaton this morning. Yesterday morning it was Powerwolf. This morning it's Sabaton. And then yesterday a mate of mine sent me a meme with a Powerwolf track over it, and I'd said, hey, look, that's freakish, okay? Because there's no way that you could know that was my vibe this morning. It's too specific. Like, just a little sinister, to be honest. So this is much thicker than it needs to be, but that's the intent. Just means that I can faff with it. Okay, getting there, but this bit back here definitely needs some. Yeah. A little bit more in that gap. Here should be fine. At least I only have to make this once. And that's the way that I've been coping. Looking at it like, okay, well, I've spent all this time on this thing, but I only have to spend this much time on it once, rather than having to faff with a bunch of casts after the fact. Like, no, I've made it as good as I can. the first time round. It's like I was discussing with a workmate, like, in school, I never did any revision for any exams. Because the way I saw it was like, well, I paid attention the first time. So I shouldn't need to go back over this information. And I didn't. And it was much of the dismay of my peers. You know, because like reading weeks and stuff, they'd all be, well, they'd be taking the mick until the last minute because, of course, that's what you do. But they'd be sweating and scrambling to try and find ways of remembering stuff, and I'd just be chilling, like, nah, this is fine. It's whatever. It's what it is. Either I know it or I don't. And then, you know, I'd come away with, well, I eventually came away with 11 A to A stars. I had one B in history, which I can put down to being very stressed out over a home situation at the time, and then a C in maths because I'm not fond of it. So that's fine. I can deal with that. Everything else was either an A or an A star. So, yeah. Schoolmates hated me. But it's the same principle with this. It's like, well, I'm going to do it right the first time, so shouldn't need to mess with it again. That's the theory. Where did I... It's this one. Alright. Now I'm going to have to try and finesse it. Yeah, I think it needs a bit down here as well. Let's give it one of these. And then I'll cut it down to match the other side. I think that's the thing. If I work from the middle out, then I ought to have a better time of this, in theory. Okay. So, I wonder if turning this light off will help me to see a bit better. Not a whole bunch. Just because the glare, because it's shiny, kind of hard to see where I actually need to cut it from. I think if I just take a bit off to start, I'll already have a better idea. Okay, yeah. What does that do for me? Again, really hard to see. Bring that down at an angle, that might help. Then the only thing I need to be mindful of is if I'm dealing with silicone, I kind of want to be hanging around at least for a little bit. So I need to keep an eye on the time. That's better. That looks a lot better from where I'm stood. But it's really difficult to tell. So I'm going to go stand in the dark with it and see if anything looks different. So yeah, it does. That's definitely better, but... This is where it gets hard to determine exactly what it is that's off. This definitely comes out slightly more. The glare from the lights is annoying. I wonder. You can kind of see over here. I think that fixes that. Main thing is I think this side needs to splay out more. I think that'll fix a lot of this. Yeah. Okay, so this needs to come out slightly more along here. That's then better. Yeah, I definitely think starting from the middle helps to highlight various bits and pieces as far as trying to get everything to be symmetrical. Because I can't leave it. Anytime I say I can, give me 5 minutes and I'll change my mind. If that. Realistically. Okay, is that better? Yes. But I will have to cut it down, which is fine. Right. I'm gonna go get more water real quick. But I think I know what I'm doing. So, yeah. Give me a sec. So, looking at that, it's better. I'm just trying to look at this from its outside. Just from the outline. It's definitely better. Because that needs to splay out slightly more. This bit in here, I think I'm reasonably okay with. I can finesse it slightly. That's then better. Does it come down slightly further? It is hard to tell with the glare, that's the only thing. That needs to come up slightly higher on that side as well. I'm just having to hold it at weird angles to try and see what's wrong. But this point needs to come up slightly higher. This needs to extend slightly further. So I'm reluctant to cut into this side again because I know I'm very close to the foam. So if I can avoid it, I'd rather. Just debating what's going to be more difficult. I think it's safer to build the thing than it's going to be to cut the thing. It wants to come out more like, yeah, more like that. Then brought back down and round. Ah, if I do that, then I can see. Okay. Then I tried turning that off. Oh no, I can kind of see, but then that side I can't. So I wonder if I do that. You guys can't see anything, and neither can I objectively. Alright, so not that then. Whatever, I'll figure it out. I'll add this bit first. I add this bit or do I just take some away from the other side? Depends. What does this say? It says everything's pretty even, which is a lie. And maybe I just take a tiny bit away from the other side. Because it's definitely not even. I can see it when I'm looking at it from this side. So, I think I just take a tiny bit away from here. I think that's going to be easier. Do I have anything in it? I've got this one. Okay, I'll use this one. Doesn't need to be much off, in fairness. That might be enough, you know. Yeah, that might actually be enough. I can just paper this off. Might help. That then seems too thick. That seems about right. Yeah, that seems too thick, but that's fine. That just means give it some of that. That middle bit is fine. It's this outer bit that I can't figure for the life of me. Can I set something up here to block that light? Probably. Yes, I can. It's just that you guys won't be able to see for a bit. But I need that there. So that I can actually see whether I've got the right sort of curve going. This still needs to extend down a bit. Unless I just cut some of this off, which I could do. Realistically. Now, what sort of distances am I looking at for this? So from here to here is about 3.5. It's also about 3.5, so really, those are accurate. So I don't want to detract away from that a whole bunch. Not really. Probably just want to taper it. Probably all I need to do. That looks a lot better to me. Looks an awful lot better. This bit's going to be under the hilt anyway, so really, if I do just cut that, it's not going to matter. As long as I cut it at the right angle. About sort of that. Yeah, that seems fine. Actually, realistically, I could use this for that. But then, does it actually do that? Where's my reference? Before I make things up. Ah, see that? Curves. So... suppose what I could do... see, I can feel foam in that. I'm reluctant to do anything else to that. I don't think I'll do that. I'm going to leave this, because I'm pretty sure it matches up now. Didn't before, but I'm pretty sure it does now. And I'm just going to take this bit off. Just because it makes me feel better. And then a similar sort of shtick. This. Now it's a question of whether these are right sorts of heights. Don't think they're far off. This is too high compared to its mirror. Easier to do it from this side. That's better. That deals with all of that. Alright. It's not terrible. I love how that's the best I can do at this point. It's not terrible. Okay. Looking at it from here, and looks like it's still slightly too thick in there. So, like I said, a little bit off of there. I'm in danger of doing exactly what got me into trouble to begin with. I need to taper it more. maybe I just have to flatten this out on this side. Maybe that'll help. And I can kind of see what I'm doing. Trying to get equal angles on this has been a living hell. Okay, so then that's not as steep an angle as it is on here. It's part of the problem. This needs to come up. That's better. And then along here, it's just a straighter. It's less of a curve here. That's better. Comes in more. Better. And then away a bit of this. Right, that's better. I can probably settle for that, to be honest. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. Realistically, that's probably the best I'm going to be able to do. And I can at least get a mold wall assembled. If I don't get around to silicone, then lame, but also it's what it is. I can finish this, extra everything. And yeah. Okay. Then get rid of all the bloody fingerprints that are on here. I'm expected to faff with everything to the extent I have, so, you know, it's what it is, I guess. Yeah, that's now way more even. So, I could not get random fragments everywhere, though. In fairness, it's only taken me an hour and a half to faff to an extent that I'm okay with currently. I feel like that's not as bad as it usually is. wonder. Not that one, this one. Not a bad approach. Maybe I just roll out micro strip just to fix that little undercutty bit. What was I just saying about having fixed things? It's just this little bit that's annoying me. What's the best angle of attack for this? Probably that. That is fixing it. Now 3:30. Yeah, I'm not gonna have time to silicone things today. Why am I like this? I can build a mold wall. That's fine. As much as I frustrate myself, I do feel like I have fixed what would have been a massive problem, to be honest. Because it was just glaringly uneven. Whereas now it actually looks pretty even. Not perfect, but it's not the notable mess that it was before. I need to add a tiny bit up there as well. Just plug that. Deals with that. Where is this gonna sit? Because if I know... Yeah. Okay, so this is all gonna be seen. Which means I kind of want to fix how this sits as well. Because it needs to be slightly thicker up here. I'm really hoping by the time I've left this in the fridge overnight and come back to it in the morning, I'm really hoping I'll look at it and go, yeah, this is good. I'm okay with this. That's the ideal. But I can't guarantee anything. That's slightly different, but I don't care. So, which one do I want? This one. It's not particularly different. No. There's a tiny ridge that I want to fill here. And then I need to think about where the hilt is going to sit and how best to handle that. See, then there's more gaps to fill down under here as well. After that, everything should actually be fairly evened out. This right-hand side is still higher on this ridge. Is that better? That looks much better. Only a small change, but definitely seems better. Why can I hear so many cars around this early in the morning? But it was just me that was awake at this sort of time. I was hoping, really. A little bit of peace, you know? Calm before the storm. I don't know. This time of morning just kind of works for me, to be honest. It's the same. after the end of this month, I'll be able to get an actual schedule going for this stuff. Because at the minute, it's super sporadic. And I appreciate that it's difficult to keep tabs on because it is just so random. So I will be able to get a handle on that when I don't have to factor work into everything. Oh, I reached the end of my playlist. Meant to loop, I don't know why it isn't. Just play the thing, it's fine. I don't mind going around again. I think I'll faff with this early tomorrow morning, and then I've got another project I need to work on. So if I can get silicon done ASAP, then maybe before the day is out, I can demold some stuff. Maybe. We'll see. I'll see what it says as far as demold times. Usually it's like a 24-hour thing, so maybe not, but we'll see. It might be because it's warm and, you know, tends to help things cure. Might end up being able to get away with just doing it later in the day. We'll see. That's assuming that I wake up tomorrow and look at this and I'm okay with it. That's too soon to call, realistically. Can't make that kind of call yet. Okay. That's definitely better than it was. Trying to look at it like off to one side. Better than it was. It's not perfect by any stretch. When I observe it, face on out the gate, is there anything that stands out to me? No, nothing like really stands out. There are things that I can observe, definitely, that. That's better. I'm more okay with that. Right. Yeah. I am objectively more okay with that. So let me texture this and see what happens. I think this is pretty much okay. I think I've managed to fix most of the undercuts. At least all the ones that I think are going to matter a whole bunch. It's starting to get pretty soft again. Kind of hard to see. I'm just gonna have to be all the way down here for a minute. At least once this is done, I can actually build that mold while I was talking. Jeez. Story of my life. It's difficult because on the one hand I want to be like, yeah, here's the thing I'm gonna do today. Then it's like, I never know. You know, I can say I'm working on this project, but I genuinely can't say what I'm gonna end up doing. Right? Focus, focus, focus. Mm. Right. Finally, sort of getting there. Yeah, it's getting very soft again. It's always a danger. I'm much more likely to balls it up. Tiny little gap under here. Where's the time? Oh, okay, basically 4. Great. I can try and speed run a wall. Because that should save me time tomorrow, in theory. most of the way there, in fairness. Most of the way there. I'll fill in this little gap in here. Yeah, too soft. I'm accidentally cutting into stuff. I think that's going to be a problem. Reach that point again where it's all too warm. Yeah, even resting my thumb against it is leaving a mark. So I'm going to be a little stuck again until it's been back in the fridge. Going to be a little bit limited on what more I can actually do to it today. Which checks out as far as the time goes, in fairness. I'm annoyed that I didn't get around to moulding anything. But I'm glad, really, because there were some pretty notable problems with it I've managed to fix this morning. And there's no point in doing this if it's not going to be right. So, you know. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to finesse it until it's cooled off again, annoyingly. Has it just gone 4? Okay, well I can assemble a wall while I'm here, I guess. But then I'm kind of reluctant, because if I need to finesse something tomorrow that I see when I'm looking at it with fresh eyes, then access is going to be kind of a pain. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll hold off. Against my will, but arguably in line with my better judgment. That tends to be how this plays out. can't really do much more with this today, because it is just too soft. I'm probably going to want to faff with a couple of bits tomorrow. It's probably going to be what I want. That is off-center, but is it going to matter? That's the question. If I sat that on here, it's not the worst. It's not the worst. For an organically sculpted thing, it could definitely be worse. So, I'm inclined to say meh, to be honest. Inclined to say meh. Now, there are holes in this plastic. So when it comes to moulding it, I'm kind of like, eh. That may end up being annoying. I mean, in fairness, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Not in the grand scheme of things. It's only a board underneath, so I'm not particularly precious about it. Why does it still look wonky to me? I think it's because I think it's because the way that top gemstone looks. It's not even with the rest of this. But that's going to be something that I'll have to contend with tomorrow, I think, to be honest. So, yeah. That's whatever. I think for now, I'm just going to have to call it there, because it's 4:10 and I will have to go to work, and I need to give some consideration to what is left to bother me. And when it hits me in the face in the morning, do I notice it? That's the best way to gauge this. Don't know how it translates on cam, but this is what I'm currently contending with. Maybe? Kind of. Yeah, on cam, I can definitely see a difference. But it's hard to know. It's hard to know. Do any of the textures even show up on here? I hope so. But yeah, that's probably going to be it for now, to be honest. Just because I need to start it afresh to know whether anything that is bothering me right now is actually going to be a problem. Because it might be. I don't know yet. So I'm going to leave it for now and go contend with work things, and then start fresh tomorrow, have a look, see what I think, determine how much it actually matters, etc. Because it might not be the issue I'm thinking it will be. So that's a future me problem. And I will catch you guys tomorrow morning when I make that decision. So yeah, in a bit.